When the market is this crazy, most of us are thinking the same thing. What should we be buying right now? Since I'm a new YouTuber, just as a little bit of background info about myself and why I think I'm qualified to talk about this subject, I've been collecting Pokemon cards since I was a kid, took a break for many years, and got a lot more serious about it during COVID. I've consistently made good calls when it comes to long and short-term investments, which have helped me grow the value of my collection over 100 times without spending a single dollar from my savings, besides the small initial principal I put into the hobby when I first got back into it. The goal for this video isn't to brag, but rather to give you some insight into the things I consider when buying cards to help you think about the same factors when deciding what cards to buy for yourself. I'll always be open and candid in my videos and want anyone watching to succeed, so subscribe if that's of any interest to you. In this video, I'll lay out some things that I'm buying and explain why I'm buying them now, as well as things I'm avoiding. I'll break the video up into a section for sealed products as well as a section for graded cards, so feel free to click on the timestamps below if you're only interested in one or the other. I generally collect sealed and graded cards and tend to avoid raw singles, which is why there's no section for singles in this video, and I can go over why that is in another video if anyone's interested. With all that being said, let's get into it. Sealed Pokemon products are the safest when it comes to collecting and investing, as they have historically always gone up over time. Collecting and investing in sealed products is generally a longer-term play as compared to buying singles or graded cards. For newer collectors, think of sealed products like index funds or high-yield savings accounts, while singles or graded cards are more like individual stocks. Of course, at the time of the recording of this video, buying anything at MSRP is generally a safe play, since everything sells out instantly and has a higher market value than retail cost. I know that buying cards at MSRP these days is very difficult, so check out the videos I made covering everything you need to know on how to successfully buy new releases and restocks. So far, I've made a video on how to buy from the Pokemon Center and Sam's Club, and plan on making videos for other retailers in the future. Costco is another popular store that is currently stocking and has some of the best deals on the market. As of the making of this video, Costco is currently stocking Prismatic Evolutions and Surging Sparks 2-pack bundles. These come with an ETB and a booster bundle and retail for about $60. We recently had our waves of this reprint in our local stores, and these 2-packs are an insane deal as $60 is around the price of an ETB on its own. But I know that buying cards at MSRP is not always practical. This means we have to turn to the secondary market if we want to buy any sealed products right now. When buying cards from the secondary market, I tend to avoid products of sets that are currently in print. Any set that is currently in rotation is at a risk of being reprinted, which to me means that buying them at market price is not worth the risk, as prices will crash if a reprint happens and new inventory floods the market. I also avoid products that have recently skyrocketed. For example, 151 and Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center ETBs have seen an astronomical price jump in the last few weeks. Even though I think the prices can somewhat be justified, as both of these Pokemon Center ETBs are out of print, the opportunity cost is simply not worth it to me. Rather than spending nearly $1,000 on a 151 Pokemon Center ETB, I'd rather spend that money on other sealed products that have yet to pump in price. Furthermore, buying products that have already jumped in price cuts into your potential gains. As an example of a sealed product that I've been buying on the secondary market, Blooming Waters have recently restocked at Targets across the country, and there were several online drops over the last few weeks. Because of that, there are several scalpers selling these on your local Facebook marketplace, from anywhere between $100 to $120 depending on where you live and when you're watching this video. 151 is almost out of print, and I believe that buying any 151 products around $10 per pack is a great pickup right now. Let's get into graded cards. When the market is as hot as it is right now, many cards are fluctuating weekly or even daily. Buying the cards that you see all your favorite influencers talking about is extremely risky, as many collectors will do the same and artificially pump the value of the card. Cards that rise in value too fast almost always crash, so anyone that buys those cards as they're rising in value end up getting burned when the prices are inevitably corrected. A card that's currently pumping like crazy is Bubble Mew. A PSA 10 copy has doubled in only 1 month, from $1,000 to $2,000, and is still rising. Again, this is a good example of a card that I'm avoiding, as I'm confident the price will drop eventually. Let's look at the Charizard SIR from 151. Yet another card that's seen some recent movement, the jump in price for Charizard hasn't been as significant. From $730 last month to around $1,000 now in a PSA 10, the Charizard EX SIR is another card that I'm avoiding right now. There are many reasons why you might think buying this card is a good play, many of which I've discussed in previous videos. Charizard is a fan favorite Pokemon, 151 is one of the best sets of the Scarlet and Violet era, and this card is the main chase of the set, making it a safe investment long term. However, I'm again looking at opportunity costs, and would not want to spend $1,000 on one Charizard slab when I don't think there's much room for it to grow. If we look at the population report, there's over 20,000 Charizard EX PSA 10s, which is a very high population. I would rather spend that $1,000 on other slabs that are cheaper and that I think have more room to grow. For example, I picked up an Alakazam EX PSA 10 for $175 and a couple Blastoise SIR PSA 10s for $275. Both of these cards have already grown in value in just a couple weeks, and I could see them going up even more. Again, as a comparison, I think the Alakazam could easily double from $175 in a 10 to $350 in a 10, but it's much less likely that a Charizard would double from $1,000 to $2,000. This leads to another reason why I'm avoiding the Charizard and instead picking up other slabs, which is the art. Fortunately for me, most of the cards I like and that I've picked up for my personal collection are cards that most other collectors think are cool and would like to have in their collection. This has helped me increase the value of my collection significantly over the years. In my opinion, the Charizard SIR from 151 is extremely mid. It's actually one of my least favorite Charizards out of all the Charizard cards out there. Out of the 3 starters from this set, the Blastoise looks the best to me, followed by the Venusaur, and finally the Charizard comes in last. Here are a couple other slabs that I recently picked up. The Umbreon V and Umbreon VMAX from Brilliant Stars, and I also added another Rayquaza VMAX from Silver Tempest to my collection. Brilliant Stars booster boxes are another product that's pumped significantly, jumping from $400 to $500 in just 1 month. The prices of singles and graded cards typically follow, and so far the Umbreon V and Umbreon VMAX haven't moved much. And speaking to the art style, I personally love Trainer Gallery cards. These 3 cards are some of my favorites. The Rayquaza VMAX in particular is probably my second favorite Rayquaza art ever, my favorite being the Rayquaza V from Evolving Skies. And that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you found it helpful to hear about some factors I consider, as well as examples of cards and products I'm currently buying and ones that I'm avoiding. Of course, you can have a completely different take than I do, and I would love to hear your opinions in the comments below. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.